What happened that year?
So as I mentioned before, in 2006 we had this visioning retreat for all staff to come together, and we had a zillion notes on the boards on the wall and that kind of thing. And we really created an initial vision. We also had worked with the Board of Trustees as well as the Friends of the Library in the beginning stages of figuring out how we would do this planning process and this whole project. We set up a wiki. This was Gail's idea, to set up a wiki and work with that so that any staff member or any member of the public could post to the wiki any ideas, any photographs, any articles, anything that they saw that related to this and what we were trying to do, any good ideas if they had gone to a conference like a PLA conference or something like that and had just come back brimming with ideas, they would post that to the wiki. Another thing we did was to organize bus tours, and by the way, Anastasia Bush, who is one of the presenters here, she was the project manager. She worked in marketing, and she actually had been hired probably 2 weeks before I had been hired back in 2006. She was the grant writer in the marketing and development department, but I pretty much snatched her away in order to have her focus on this project, much to the consternation. I saw her strengths in being able to manage such a project. And so she managed the project. 2 of our branch managers worked with us to create these bus tours. That was another part of what happened that year. In order to learn best practices around at least the region, we decided to get these bus tours going, invite the public and staff. So on each of these trips we had about 25 staff members and about 25 or so people from the public. We went to Charlotte, Mecklenburg, we went to Henrico and Chesterfield up in the Richmond area in Virginia. We went to Henderson, North Carolina, which had a new library. We went to Greensboro and saw several libraries over in Greensboro as well as Burlington. That was a part of it, and that gave people a lot of things to talk about. It created a bonding experience there for the staff along with the members of the public, and so people got to have a much better understanding of the kinds of things that were happening in the world of public libraries that maybe weren't happening in Durham. It allowed us to use some of those ideas not only with creating the strategic plan, but we designed and built 2 new libraries in the subsequent years. About 2 to 4 years later, we were opening new libraries, and so a lot of those ideas got to be incorporated. Everything led to a May 2007 search conference, or future search conference. And I know that Gail is going to be talking a lot about the search conference idea, and there's a handout about that in the materials that people have for this program. But what we did was all the people we had identified as stakeholders. Remember, I told you we identified stakeholders using a 20-member steering committee, but we identified about 150 people around the community. We invited all of those people to come to the search conference for 2 days. They took 2 days out of their lives, or about a day and a half. We went over to Duke University, the Searle Center, rented that space, just really focused in sort of a retreat on all that had happened in the previous 6 or 8 months in learning about what libraries could be. And we got together and really hammered out a strategic plan in those couple of days. We looked back historically and we looked to the future, and it wasn't just, even though it was a future search conference, we sort of taglined our plan as honoring the past and looking to the future, that kind of thing. So those were the key elements of the plan.